I'm about to educate you all real quick, okay? Start with Oras. Oras is B. I like Oras. It's a decent enough remake. It kind of like killed the YouTube community for a while because we had to wait a year of nothingness and then we got a remake. So it was like Let's Go but on steroids, and there wasn't a whole lot of new going on in the Pokemon community at the time. But I ended up enjoying the games. I do think they're very good remakes. They're solid. Oras is trash compared to the original. Can you tell me what Oras did worse than the original? If it's trash, if you're saying it's trash, then there must be a massive difference between these two, which I do not see how there could possibly be a massive difference for its time. I do not agree that remakes deserve the same grade as the originals. I think that is not a very educated thing to say.
Good job, Daniel. Very smart. You sound so educated.
Also, this had the Delta episode, which I really like the Delta episode. All right, next up, Pokemon Black and White 2. Pokemon Black and White 2 are pretty good. They're all right. Black and White 2 are all right. I don't have any major complaints. They improved on a lot of the stuff that, you know what, actually, I'm gonna put Black and White 2 in B tier, and here's why. I appreciate the fact that they actually made a sequel to a game. For so long, we've had Game Freak releasing 3 versions of the same fucking game, and then out of the blue one year, they're like, actually, let's make a sequel. Let's give it new content. Let's give it new story. Let's give it new Pokemon. Let's give it new this, and make an actual sequel. Black and White 2 is the only sequels. Ultra Sun and Moon are not sequels. So just because of the fact that they actually made a sequel, I'm gonna put Black and White 2 in B tier. Got a lot of people saying Black and White 2, but Black and White is an S. I disagree, but I do see why you would share that opinion. Now, when 5th gen happened, it was around the time where I wasn't really playing Pokemon, so I don't have that nostalgia boost. There's like 2 boosts, right? There's like the YouTube content creation boost that you know, making content about a game would give to someone's opinion, and there's the nostalgia boost. They're like Zenkai boosts from Dragon Ball, right? So neither of those boosts apply to Black and White 2 for me. Black and White are... I'm gonna come back to that. Pokemon Red and Blue. This is also a hard one. In fact, I may need to make a new tier. We're gonna do a C+. Pokemon Red and Blue, they go into C+. That's because of the nostalgia boost. Now, let's be honest. These games aren't technically amazing. There is no story to them. It's just good old nostalgic fun playing through them. There's so many issues with these games. If it wasn't for the nostalgia boost, they would probably be D. They would probably be D. They set up the foundation. When you're comparing it to everything that came off the foundation, they're improvements. I don't think it really matters that, hey, these are the games that started it. I think they should be judged on how they are as games, you know? And also, nostalgia is gonna play a factor in it. Of course it is. Of course nostalgia is gonna play a factor in it. In fact, I don't think I should go in the proper order, because I feel like I should go in the proper order, sorry, is what I'm saying here. So yellow, honestly, I'm bumping yellow down. And here's why. I'm bumping yellow down because as a kid, I had a lot harder of a time playing through these games because I was a dumb kid, and for some reason they level buffed all of the gym leaders ridiculous amounts, like around Fuchsia time. So I just got stuck constantly, and it made me really sad. Though I do appreciate the fact that they gave you the Pikachu, the following Pikachu. That was cool, but it's not enough to bring it above. I actually prefer Red and Blue to yellow. I've always preferred Red and Blue to yellow. I always have. Always have. Gold and Silver. Gold and Silver. Ooh, Gold and Silver, B tier. I remember the day where I went into a game shop, and I guess I had been a big fan of playing through these 3, Pokemon Blue, Red, and Yellow at the time. And I saw Silver on the shelf, and I was like, I was literally like a kid in a candy store, except the candy was games. I saw it on the shelf. I was like, is this a new Pokemon game? I was like, Mom, there's a new Pokemon game. Can I get it? Can I get it? I remember looking at it on the shelf. I remember getting it. And I picked it up off the shelf, and I took Pokemon Silver home with me, and I played it from there. I absolutely love these games. I don't want anyone to mistake my opinions here. All of these tiers are very close. I don't dislike Pokemon Yellow. I don't dislike, I'm not gonna dislike any of these games. I like all of these games, with the exception of maybe a couple. But for the most part, I like all of them. And the difference between tiers is not that big. The difference between C+, B, A, S, it's not that big of a difference. I love Gold and Silver. I really do. But they have been definitely improved upon in the later releases. And it doesn't really stand the test of time at this point. That's why that's there. Crystal, just because of the fact I have a bias against third versions, strictly because it's the same game released over again, I'm gonna bump Crystal down to... See, the thing is, I do like Crystal. I'm gonna put him in C+. I do like Crystal a lot, but I have a bias against those third version ones because it just annoys me that they release the same game over and over and over and over and over again. Crystal didn't really add much, if anything at all. In fact, I'm almost like tempted to put it down to C. Like I said, I still like it, but I gotta put it down to C. There's not a huge amount of difference here. Crystal had moving sprites. Is that really a big difference though? Crystal is the first game you could play as a girl, and I do appreciate that. Like when I saw that you could actually choose what gender you could play as for the first time, I was like, oh my god, I immediately chose the girl because I was like, wow, this is incredible. So it does get it's pretty nice for that. It's pretty good for that. All right, so there's Crystal. And then we go into Ruby and Sapphire. I have played these games way too much. Ruby and Sapphire were the games as a child, like Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, that I played the most. I played them way too much, to the point where I played it so much, I now dislike them more than I would have otherwise. So I'm gonna put Ruby and Sapphire in... C. And don't get me wrong, once again, I would like to say I still love these games. I love all of them. But I blew myself out on these. Absolutely blew myself out on these, to the point where I was like, oh god, I can't. Like playing them now is just like, ugh, you know? I still think they're great. I love the new Pokemon. I love the new region. That's why I played it so much. But now it's just like, ugh. It's like when you listen to a song over and over and over again, and then when the song comes on, you're just like, ugh, really? It's like that for me now. So Ruby and Sapphire are going to C. Emeralds, also in C. The same reason applies. I couldn't really put it in D. I don't want to put it in D. I don't think it deserves D. It's just gonna go into C. I feel like that's a decent place for it to be. I do feel like Emerald improves on Ruby and Sapphire, but not so much to the point where I'd put it up. Well, or would I? I'm like weighing my bias against third versions to the improvements that Emerald made. And you know what? Yeah, okay. I do think that Emerald is the best version of Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, so there you go. I'll put in C+. All right, next up, what's next? We got ourselves Diamond and Pearl. Ooh, did I like Diamond and Pearl? But looking back on it now, they are so slow. They are so slow. When I played through them in the Versus Royale, I almost couldn't stand how slow they were. So I love these games back in the day. Now I can't I almost don't want to play them ever again. I still think they're great though. For all the new stuff about it when I was a kid, absolutely loved it. Right now, I don't want to play them. Platinum, easy S tier. Easiest S tier of my entire life. Platinum is a fantastic game. I'm weighing the improvements made versus my third edition bias. I just enjoy Platinum so much. I really do. Platinum is almost like the perfect Pokemon game for me. I absolutely adore it. Absolutely love this game. Oh yeah, I missed Firered, Leafgreen. Firered, Leafgreen. Ooh. Firered, Leafgreen, solid A. If only Generation 1 had any kind of story or anything to make me actually care about what was going on in the world, which, you know, they didn't. Might have bumped up to S tier, but apart from that, really like Firered, Leafgreen. I still like them to this day, even after I played them so many freaking times. That's the difference between Ruby and Sapphire and Firered, Leafgreen. I still like Firered, Leafgreen to this day, but Ruby and Sapphire has that played too much song effect in my head where it's like, oh, really again? And let me tell you, I actually remember getting Firered, Leafgreen. I remember, it was 2004 when these games came out, wasn't it? I remember Christmas of 2004. I remember sitting down because I really wanted Fire Red, but the only place that anyone could find any of these games was Leaf Green. I walked around every shop in my town with my gran, just desperately trying. 15 years ago, I walked around every single shop with my gran, desperately trying to find a Fire Red copy, but you could only find Leaf Green. And I was so adamantly against playing Leaf Green. I was like, I want to play Fire Red. And I remember we went to go and see one of my gran's friends, and she left me in the car, and she was like, I'm just gonna go and talk to her for a second. I was like, whatever, I'll just play whatever game. I think I was playing like Emerald at the time. I was sitting in the car playing Emerald, and she came out about 5 minutes later, and she gave me Fire Red, and I was like, oh my god! Apparently, her friend bought a copy of Fire Red, or maybe had like an additional copy for their grandchildren and was like, hey, I'll sell it to you, I'll just get another one later. And that's how I got Fire Red. I fucking love my gran. She was so great. And I remember actually that Christmas, I got Leaf Green as well. I got the Fire Red version a few months before Christmas. And then for Christmas, I was like, can I get Leaf Green now? And I got Leaf Green as well. I love my gran. Thought Emerald came out after Fire Red, Leaf Green. Oh, I mean, like, my memory of that time is very vague. It might have been like Ruby and Sapphire. Like, pretty much the same game anyway. Haha, badumts.
Haha, Daniel, you really got them with that one.
But that was my story of getting these games. I remember sitting in the car and she came back in the car and she just like turned around and looked at me and was like, here you go. And I was like, thank you. And it was like, it was one of the best experiences. Seriously. But okay, so that is that. So I'm sorry, I got distracted. Let me continue. So next up, what do we have next? We have like what, black and white? Black and white is a hard one for me, but I think I've come to a decision here. Black and white is C+. I also remember, this is another grand story here. I remember this is the time when I wasn't playing Pokemon and these games came out and I didn't really care about it all that much. I skipped Hot Gold, Soul Silver. I'll come back to Hot Gold, Soul Silver. I didn't really play Pokemon at all. I was playing other games. I was playing like freaking, this is actually when I think this is when I started my channel as well in like 2011. Didn't these games come out in like 2010, 2011? And I tried to download my very first emulator onto my grand's laptop to try and play it because I was like, I'm curious. I'm gonna try and play it, you know? Not saying I pirated the game, I definitely didn't do that. I definitely bought it legitimately, but here's the story anyway. And I got the ROM and I started playing it and it was so laggy on my grand's PC. She had this really, really old laptop and it was so laggy, it was the point where it was unplayable, but I desperately wanted to play it just to see what it was like. So it was running at like 10 FPS, it was running at like 25% speed, but still for some reason I was sitting there like, I really want to play this game. And I just tried to like tough it out for the longest time. I think I got up to the first gym running at 25% speed. I don't know why I did that at the time, considering I don't know, it's just like the deep-seated love that I had for the Pokemon franchise in the back of my head. Like, you need to keep going. You need to keep going, dude. And I remember downloading that and I remember trying to play it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna freaking buy it, I guess. I mean, I already did buy it. I definitely already did buy it. Did you fill your grand's laptop with viruses? No, I don't download viruses. She downloads viruses. Every time I go over, she's like, my laptop's running slow. And I'm like, okay, let me take a look at it. And it's got like 70,000 different toolbars on it. So that's my story about the original time. The first time I ever played Pokemon Black and White was at about 25% speed. So that's the story there. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Once again, probably one of the easiest S tiers in my life. Easiest S tier in my life. Absolutely love these games. These are pretty much almost the perfect Pokemon game. They're absolutely fantastic. I can't think of many bad things to say about them, honestly. 2 regions, Pokemon following you, fantastic looking graphics. I mean, it's got it all. It's really got it all. I really love these games. I really do. So, easiest S tier of my life. Sun and Moon. Now, I have 2 different opinions about Sun. Actually, no, X and Y comes first. Yeah. No, jeez. Where do I want to? Oh God, this is hard. I don't. I'm gonna leave it in C tier. With the only reason being, I love Mega Evolutions more than maybe anything else in the Pokemon franchise right now. I absolutely love Mega Evolutions, so it gets buffed up a tier. If it didn't have Mega Evolutions, it'd be easy D, but I love Mega Evolutions, so it gets buffed up a tier. Like, the models of the Pokemon, they don't, like, when you take the sprites in the pixel art and you turn it into the models, they just look so lifeless, if that makes sense. They're so desaturated. I never liked the chibi characters either. I don't like the chibi characters that they had. I thought the story was dumb. I thought Lysander was an idiot. I thought this whole plan was fucking stupid. I didn't like it at all. It's somewhat more confusing than average Pokemon games are. Like you go to like Lysander Cafe and you're like, where's Lysander Cafe? That's a irrelevant complaint actually, now that I think of it. There's no after game. The champion is complete trash. Like, the only reason it's C tier, the only reason it is in this tier is because the fact that it has Mega Evolutions. Only reason. Too many rivals that no one cares about. Only you, X and Y, you got lucky that you're 6th generation, mate. This didn't feel finished. You're right. Sun and Moon. Oh man, I have like semi nostalgia for this game. I have like YouTube nostalgia for this game. Sun and Moon. Oh my God. I remember the lead up to the Sun and Moon release. It was probably one of the most exciting times I've ever seen in the Pokemon YouTube community. Everyone was excited. Everyone was doing stuff about the new trailers. Everyone was happy and everything was cool. It was like a fresh new start. And the games came out and I like the games. I like Sun and Moon. Now, obviously it has its share of issues, but I like Sun and Moon. I do like Sun and Moon quite a lot. But with the release of Ultra Sun and Moon, in my opinion, just improved on stuff. So I'm gonna put Sun and Moon into a solid B. And this is going to cause some controversy, but I don't care. I think this is correct in my personal opinion. I think Ultra Sun and Moon are some of the best Pokemon games that have been made. I think they are some of the best. They have incredible quality of life improvements based on all the other games. They have, in what I thought were massive story improvements. I loved the idea of trials, which Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon had. I think they're really fun to play through. It was a refreshing take on the Pokemon series. Of course, everyone's entitled to their own opinions. But there was that. And now we arrive at Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. And I bet most of you think that I'm going to immediately put it into D tier and just forget about it. But no, that's not the case. Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are not going into D tier. They're not going into C tier either. They're not even going into C+. Chat, what do you think I'm doing with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee? These are games that angered a lot of people. These are games that took away a lot of the good features about Pokemon, but these are also games that introduce a lot of really cool stuff. Pokemon in the overworld, they reintroduced Pokemon following behind you. They did have legitimate challenge in some of the coach trainers and the ace trainers. They had creative trainer themes. The gamblers using one-hit KO moves, very creative stuff that you don't really see in any of the other Pokemon games. I think these games are more challenging than people give them credit for. There's also a lot of stuff in these games that I don't like. There's a lot of stuff in these games that I don't like. I think it's definitely a one and done type of thing. But I'm gonna put them in a B. I think they deserve to be in a solid B tier. Obviously, not everyone's gonna agree with that. A lot of people liked it, a lot of people didn't like it. I think it's definitely a one and done type game, but for that one playthrough, it's enjoyable. For that one playthrough, it's probably some of the most fun that you'll ever have in a Pokemon game, in my opinion. That one playthrough, you know, when you're getting used to the capturing mechanics, when you're searching for Pokemon in the overworlds, when you're fighting the coach trainers for the first time, has so many quality of life improvements based like on other games. I think they're very fun the first time you play them, and then that's kind of it. That's all you need. And that is my opinion. Thank you so much to our Twitch subs and YouTube members of the day. Remember, if you are a YouTube member or a Twitch subscriber, that both gives you access to the sub Discord, and I appreciate you supporting the channel. Thank you so much, guys.